Hello, everybody. Okay, today, as you see, I am here by myself. I am still sweaty from doing Zumba. Just finished that a few minutes ago. Thanks to my girl, Krista. She does a great job in teaching that. So I love that. I love some of the new experiences I'm getting to do online because, um, it's just one of those positive things from everybody everything being shut down and having to work from home and doing all that stuff is a lot of people are um, taking the things that they're good at, they're doing them online, they're doing a great job, and it's fun. So I've got my calendar, 5 days a week there. Got my Zumba schedule, and I have some other things on there too, just to kind of keep it balanced out and everything. So that's cool. But well, actually, exercise is what I wanted to talk about today. So isn't that fun? Isn't that a fun shirt? I love that shirt. In my women's group, I posted a challenge, and one of the ladies contacted me this morning and she says, I just need to vent. I just need to be vulnerable. And you're the person who I'm going to do that to. Not a problem. That's what I'm here for. That's what that group is all about. Women supporting women. And the thing that she was upset about, she said, I wrote out this schedule. I said I was going to do all this. I made it look all pretty and everything because having something nice and pretty, that makes me proud. And I get up and I see that and I want to do it. And she said, my alarm went off this morning and I just went, I can't. I can't. And she says, I purposefully, with full awareness, knowing what I was doing and how it was going to make me feel, reset that alarm and said, I'm going to go back to sleep. And she said, it's not that I didn't get enough sleep because I did get enough sleep. I just didn't want to get out of bed. I didn't want to exercise. I don't like exercising. She's like, it's just not like it used to be. I used to not mind it. Now I do. I don't enjoy it. I don't love it. I just, I just have to, it just sucks. I just have to power through it and I need to just, kind of man up and do it and she's talking about all this. Well, something that I know about her is that she's going through perimenopause right now. And here's the thing with perimenopause. One of the best things that you can do is exercise regularly. And yep, I'm going to talk about her again. Ada Calhoun, in her book, Why We Can't Sleep, she actually addresses this. She talks about how there are different things that we can do. And, of course, the doctors recommend that, okay, number one, we can do hormone therapy. And she talks in the book, it's very, very good in here, in her book, where she's talking about gynecologists, how many are actually trained in menopause, human sexuality, all of that good stuff. And, it's not a lot. Okay, she says a 2013 Johns Hopkins survey found that only 1 in 5 OBGYNs, okay, that's not exact, she spells it all out, okay, residents had received formal training in menopause medicine. Okay, 1 out of 5, that's 20%. And these are gynecologists. These are the doctors specifically working with women, okay? And a lot of women don't even go to their gynecologist for this. They go to their regular general practitioner. So if only 1 in 5 gynecologists are trained in this, how many GPs? Sorry. Oh my goodness. How many GPs are trained in this? Okay. So you can actually get a doctor that's certified in menopause. Okay, it's called the North American Menopause Society, NAMS, and there are actually other groups that are trying to get more doctors certified and saying, well, if you're going to be a doctor in women's medicine, then you need to kind of know this and have this training. So you can actually go to the NAMS website and you can look up and find a doctor who is certified through them, which, um, you know, that's a plus. It's a good thing. If you have a doctor who you work really closely with, who listens to you, who you feel very comfortable with, it doesn't mean that you need to leave that doctor. It just means that you need to have those conversations. But I got on this because I was talking about exercise. Regardless of the doctor, regardless of their training, in specifically in women's health, in menopause, in women's sexuality, there are a couple different things that they recommend. A healthy diet, okay, good hydration, and there's some weird noise, must be my neighbors. So a healthy diet, being hydrated, and that's not necessarily 8 hours, 8 hours, 8 glasses of water a day. It depends on you. It depends on what you eat. You know, my doctor was telling me that you know, you don't necessarily have to have that very specific, oh, you have to have half of your body weight, blah 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 blah. He says, well, you know, it makes a difference on what you're eating too, because there's water content in that as well. So there are a lot of different factors that play in that, but you can tell by your skin, you can tell by how you're feeling. Definitely, if you're feeling hungry all the time, go ahead and drink some water before you eat, before you make that decision that you're actually hungry. Um, so hydration, a healthy diet, exercise, specifically weight-bearing exercise like walking, because that's good for your bones. As we get older, it's important that we take care of our muscles, um, support our bones. So it's important that we're doing those activities to keep those active and to get plenty of sleep. Okay. Well, as she kind of talks about in her book, and you don't have to read the book necessarily to understand that women have this job. They work at work and then they come home and they work at home. So you're working a lot, you have a lot of stress, there's a lot of things going on. You're dealing not only with your kids, but you're dealing with your parents. So you've got maybe young kids, okay, maybe they're spread out, just depending on when you started your family. Maybe you have you were married and divorced and then had a second family. Maybe you've got stepkids. In there, you're trying to take care of everybody, right? Everybody you're trying to take care of. And then you've got aging parents on top of that. You're trying to take care of that. Some of us have jobs where we are caretakers in our jobs, and we can get, I'm not sure if you've heard of it, but you can actually get compassion fatigue. Which is definitely something that can happen. Imagine all of the doctors and nurses right now, they're taking care of people, they're handling people's families when you know, you can't go in and be with your loved one who's sick in the hospital. So they're the one who's there. They're taking phone calls, they're taking heat on social media. I mean, it's just compassion fatigue right now, man. Teachers who are talking to their students online, who are saying goodbye to their students when the year didn't end at all the way it was supposed to, you know, because things change. So compassion fatigue is definitely a thing right now. Dealing with your own kids and their emotions, and your spouse and their emotions, and your parents and their emotions, your friends and their emotions, and we're dealing with all of this stuff, and on top of that we want to take care of ourselves. And um, come on, I mean, it's hard, and we have to look at it and we have to prioritize and we have to say, okay, now's the time to take care of me. And I love this. You see me keep going back to this here, because there's a great psychotherapist, Amy Jordan Jones. Again, this is in Ada Calhoun's book, Why We Can't Sleep. Psychotherapist Amy Jordan Jones told me, this is the time of life when we learn that we don't have to be pleasing. The work now is just to become more ourselves. There's so much shit out there telling us what we need to do to become more ourselves. Some of us have no clue who we are because we've been a caretaker. We've been this person. Now we're empty nesting and we don't know who we are without our kids being there. There are so many reasons and so many, it feels like good excuses to not do the things that we need to do to take care of ourselves. And I will tell you that I am one of the first people who uses every excuse in the book to not get sweaty. Okay? I don't like being sweaty. There's this weird thing about me. It's just like wet skin up against skin. Unless you're having sex, it really grosses me out. I love and adore my husband, and my love language is touch, and I love to be cuddled and hugged and touched, but not right when I get out of the shower. If my skin is wet, I do not want to be touched. And he does it just to annoy me. He'll get out of the shower, right? And not dry off and be like, come here, give me a hug. Ah, that's so gross. Unless I'm in the shower. If I'm in the shower with him, that's one other thing. But ew, there's just something about that. And sweating just gives me that same thing, and I get all grossed out. So I don't like to sweat, okay? Therefore, I don't really like to do physical activity. Even though I know physical activity feels good, I enjoy the activity itself. I just don't like sweating, okay? Um, I will use excuses, but the fact is, I can't argue with her. I can't look at her and say, yeah, you know what? You need to give yourself a break. You need to love on yourself. No, I have to look at her and say, dude, you set this. You purposely set and chose that time. You said that you've got the right amount of sleep. You said that you slept well. It's not just that you were in bed for that amount of time, but you actually slept well during that time. And that you, with full awareness, said, I know this is going to make me feel guilty and make me feel like shit, but I'm turning the alarm off and I'm going back to bed for whatever the 45 minutes was or whatever, until she had to get up and get ready to go to work. And yeah, I couldn't argue with her. So here's my response. My response is, I don't need to read it, but I'm going to, because I want to say it exactly like I did. Sometimes it's important to have the words exactly the same. Because the question was, her question was, why can't I just fucking do what I said I was going to do? Why can't I just put my foot down and just fucking do it? And I said, well, there's the age-old question, isn't it? And you are correct. Many of us feel this. And really, it's about what feels good. What causes the least amount of pain? That's usually how we make our decisions, whether it's consciously or subconsciously. So which of these is going to cause the least amount of pain? Laying in bed and sleeping in, meeting the status quo, or exercising, being uncomfortable, and creating long-term expectations from ourselves and others. Okay? Versus, here's the other one, laying in bed, getting fired, or getting up and keeping your job. Because that was the point. She said, when my alarm goes off and it's time for me to go to work, I get up, I go to work. I don't push the thing and go back to sleep. I get up and I go to work. Not that that's necessarily any more fun than getting up and exercising for 30 minutes, 45 minutes, an hour, whatever. Well, let's look at the feelings here. So I could lay in bed, sleep in, and I can meet the status quo. Okay? Or I can get up and do my exercise. Those are the two choices when it comes to exercise. Okay? And if I get up and do the exercise, then I'm going to be uncomfortable, and I'm also going to create expectations of myself as well as expectations from other people, because I'm slender, I look good, everybody tells you how great you look when you've lost a little bit of weight. Well, which one of those feels better? The laying in does. It's not a terrible thing for most people to be status quo. Okay? And then we have which feels better, laying in bed and getting fired, or getting up and keeping your job. Well, getting fired sucks, so we get up so that we can keep our job. That's the least painful of those two options. And the least painful of the other options is the laying in bed rather than getting up and exercising. So when we have choices, we pick the one that's the least painful, unless we really we have to go even deeper than that awareness. We have to go to that that metacognition there and say, I know this. Not only do I know that I'm doing this, but I know that I'm choosing this because it's the least painful out of the two. So sometimes we do a disservice to our friends when we tell them, oh, honey, that's okay, just get right back on there. There is a way to be caring and loving. I mean, I have to do that to myself. I can't beat myself up, okay? When I'm doing my exercise right now, because I hurt my foot. So I did that exercise. The last like 20 minutes of the hour-long workout, I was not able to do the foot part. So I'm up there using my hands and, because I got plenty of work to do on these arms, baby. Just because my foot hurts doesn't mean that I can't be working out my arms, right? Because I said I was going to, and I said that that's a priority to me, and I want to make it. And, if it was my child and I had to pick him up from school, I would absolutely do that. So I can love myself and give myself the same level of love and affection and attention. So and I can adapt it. So here's my little ice pack that I put on my foot at the end. So I made it standing for like 55 out of the 60-minute workout. The last 5 minutes I had to go grab the ice pack, sit down, and then I just did the stretching from my chair. And I'm not saying that that's what everybody should do. I'm saying that's what that metacognition does for me. Because boy, would I like to use my foot as an excuse to not sweat. I really would, especially where I am now. It's not hot like it was in the desert. I don't sweat when I go outside unless I'm purposely exercising. So anyway, I guess that's what I wanted to talk about today because it was such a great message from her this morning, and she was spot on. She was just like, I just have to do it. I just have to do it. It's not about willpower. It's about this is important. It's important to me, and it's about getting that understanding of why it's important to her and making it something that that she does because she needs to, because she's taking care of herself. Um, and that's what she's chosen to do. It's hurting her to feel guilty for not doing it. So now I'm going to work with her on finding an exercise that she enjoys and not forcing herself to do exercises that she absolutely hates. She doesn't have to go for a run. There are other things that she can do. So that's what we're going to work on. There is not always a balance, but we can find what works best for us individually. We definitely can. So love you guys. Have a great day. See you tomorrow. I have a wonderful person coming to talk with us tomorrow, and she has a really great story that I'm looking forward to sharing with you guys. So, mwah. See you tomorrow.